Hey Ratbags, it's Jade. A sad day for me because I think for the first time I'm actually pretty disappointed in Obsidian and Grounded. Why? Because update 1.4.4 has gone live for everyone. You should be able to see it on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. Just restart your game or console for it to kick in. But fair to say I'm underwhelmed by how many fixes or any kind of issues have been resolved in this update. Considering they said they delayed it to get more fixes in, we was hoping maybe some proper actual balance changes to New Game Plus, maybe some changes to make it less of a grind and more enjoyable, but no. Bunch of fixes obviously for the sign-in, which is really important. People were complaining on different platforms that they weren't able to sign in properly and play the game, or they'd be booted out continuously while playing multiplayer, or they'd be stuck in a loop trying to sign in on their Xbox account. Hopefully that has been fixed now. They have give a major nerf to all damage multipliers from all creatures in New Game Plus by 33%. So that will make the game mode easier for sure. But I don't think that's what people were asking for. People were asking for some of the effects from the infused creatures to be reduced because they felt massively unfair, not just make the whole game mode easier. They reduced the infusion chance of spiders added in the Hedge Broodmother fight. This is by about 50%. Mixers are no longer spawning double the amount of creatures. That's apparently what was happening. Instead, in New Game Plus, each one that you do is going to get 10% more creatures each one, and that makes sense. Reduce the AoE range of the mint infusion attacks that applies to players when hit. Reduce the number of one-shots that can happen when playing in multiplayer while clumped together. And this is the one that's really bugging me. Out of all of the unfair attacks that you have with infused creatures, particularly to do with magic, this was the least kind of troublesome or problematic. It was the sour orb that you just had no way to get out of. If you were in a tight space and it hit you, you couldn't really block, it would always kill you pretty much. As well as explosive projectiles. You can never see them properly. They do only fire from certain creatures and it's a bit rarer to get that infusion, or so I've found in the 30 hours I put into New Game Plus 1, but still it would result in you getting exploded by a ton of things very easily. They're the ones that should have been fixed at the very minimum, not just slowing you down, which effectively the mint infusion did. I did go and have a little whinge in the Discord, and one of the devs did pipe in and say that basically this will be a big difference with the 33%. That's how they fix the basically sour orbs doing too much damage, as well as maybe the projectiles. But it feels like a blunt fix for something that people were really maybe not asking for. It was generally just to fix them individual attacks. And there's no way they can't just adjust what they did. They have to just adjust everything. And they're trying not to say it here, but a certain late game character no longer triggers infusion attacks when hit. And that's it. No changes to the economy. No listening to the feedback about how expensive and grindy New Game Plus was with the crystals, the infused crystals costing so much. No changes to any of the weapons, the skills, the perks on them, how we unlock them, maybe some of the rewards in New Game Plus. That is it. I am pretty disappointed. I'm going to go through the other patches and notes as well before I go into it a bit deeper, but yeah, it kind of sucks. Reduced CPU usage, added adaptive trigger support for PlayStation 5. The Microsoft accounts, like I told you earlier, should be working now, but it might take about 15 minutes after unlinking to be able to link a new account. A bunch of fixes happening when the game might crash when repairing buildings, or issues where you're using a charged bow attack with a sleek Bard's Tudor and sleek fire ant armor. Fixed crash that could occur when loading a save while having a pet, and fixed additional random crashing that could occur. They've also had the Arcane Archer status effect properly trigger now. Clients who redeemed or joined remixed yards and have milk motor stats below the host will no longer properly get double the milk motor bonuses. Activating creature trophy, gong or termite organ near a ladder no longer produces a harsh noise beforehand. The Got People All achievement properly triggers if the last card you collect is a gold card. Lots of crashes fixed with joining games and crossplay, and a crash that occurred when downloading your own playground. That is it. Now, to be fair, Obsidian never said there was going to be huge sweeping balance changes. They never said that they were going to be adding or changing late game too much. But they did say that they delayed this update so they could get more fixes in. Jesus Christ, this sounds like some of the stuff you should have done in 2 weeks after the update, not nearly 5 months later. They had lots of fixes that they did, and New Game Plus was really not in a great state when it launched, and they have definitely made it better. And maybe this will make things a lot nicer playing it with the overall kind of reduction in difficulty. But I can't believe it's taken them that long to realise that New Game Plus was too difficult. It does feel like they have just moved everyone off this and they couldn't even be bothered to keep more than one engineer taking a look at stuff. And it hurts me saying this because I love Grounded, I stan them, but I'm always truthful as well. Even though I have always pretty much backed them up with every change, I've tried to understand everything they do. There have been a few occasions, like when they change how you upgrade your armours and a few other issues that I've kind of gone, you know what, let's be a bit more fair and balanced. But yeah, I'm annoyed. They never got feedback because this update had to be done in secret. Normally you've got the PTB and a lot gets given to them. And I understand things have to change because of the PlayStation and Switch, which was fantastic, bringing the game to them communities so that they can enjoy it. It does mean that updates are going to take longer. It does mean that maybe feedback takes longer. But nearly 5 months on and they've only just got round to reducing the difficulty in New Game Plus, instead of maybe just actually fixing a couple of the attacks which were the most problematic. Don't get me wrong, they still might have needed to reduce the overall difficulty, but the grind is what people are getting annoyed with. That's why people are just not bothering. And the thing is, they've got the data surely, and they've got the experience. People they knew were upset in the old ways that we had to upgrade, where you needed like hundreds and hundreds of quartzite, and even now you still need to pretty much rely on a ton of raw science to dupe if you want to upgrade every armor set in a normal game of Grounded, getting all the different kinds of upgrade stones. It's been a long-held criticism that it becomes too grindy if you want to. The idea being though that you choose a class and you kind of stick with that for that game, and then if you carry on playing you can obviously go and use your raw science to buy or dupe whatever you want. But it just feels like no lessons have been learned. They've just still got it way too grindy. It took me 30 hours to get through New Game Plus, pretty much doing everything. Sure, I could have maybe shortened out a little bit, but it was only by the end of that I felt a bit more confident in being able to take on the bosses, albeit obviously without the nerf they've just had. I don't know, I want to be proven wrong. I want to jump in and have a really good fun time, but this is why I went back in time and started playing Grounded from the beginning, because New Game Plus just was not enjoyable. It just doesn't have that reward ratio. It just doesn't make you feel powerful enough as you progress or strong enough to really make it fun. That's a massive part of New Game Plus. It's not just about making something as hard as it can be and expecting your die-hard fans just to stick with it. You want people to play it more. You want maybe casuals to stick it in a little bit more. And you do that by giving them actual rewards, by making it not such a grind to get to the next stage. And I just don't think a nerf overall in general, instead of actually looking at some of the core root issues, is really enough. So no, I'm not going to continue my New Game Plus, not unless I see any changes, not unless I see any differences in either the rewards, how the stones are grinded out. It is not worth anyone's time grinding through so many game modes just to get to New Game Plus 4 and then get some actual decent weapons with the infused weapons if it stays as it is right now. I'm still going to cover Grounded. I still love the devs. I do. I still appreciate and respect everything they've done, and I've backed them, and no one can say I haven't over the years. But I've got to be truthful. I can't sit here just smiling and just saying, oh, or trying to minimise stuff. This is kind of a crap update considering how much time we've waited for it. And work needs to be done. You do need to do some balanced stuff. You do need to make things more fun at Obsidian for Grounded if you want to keep players playing it. I'm going back to Grounded 2020, a simpler time. And I'll see you RATBAGGERS hopefully for an update, I guess in another few months.